Alright, what is going on YouTube? Running on Sports back here with another video. Today is our weekly college football news update. Today we got a lot of recruiting news to talk about and some transfer portal news as well. Transfer portal has been indeed heating up ever since Jamison Williams from Ohio State decided to transfer to Alabama. It's caused a lot of people had their own thoughts about it and thought it was a bad move and whatnot. And so that's kind of brought a lot of attention to the transfer portal, and some more moves have come from the transfer portal since. So we look forward to talk about that in this video and a lot of recruiting news as I mentioned. And that being said, follow our social media pages at @runandgun_sports on Instagram and at @runandgunsports on TikTok. And let's get right into the video. Share this with your friends, like and subscribe. Dalen Everett announces his top 5 schools. He's a 5-star cornerback from IMG Academy in the state of Florida. His top 5 schools are Georgia, Oregon, North Carolina, and Florida State. And 4-star offensive tackle teammate of Dalen Everett, Ali Baugh, as I mentioned, 4-star offensive tackle, has announced his commitment to Florida State. 4-star tight end Holden Stays has committed to Notre Dame. 4-star athlete Isaiah Bond out of Buford, Georgia, has committed to the University of Florida. Henry Tua Atoa from De La Salle High School in Concord, California, the 2018 recruiting class best linebacker, former Tennessee Volunteer, has transferred to Alabama. Bama originally, when Tua Toa had announced that he was going to be transferring from the Volunteers football program after the recruiting scandal of players being paid money. He said he would be entering the transfer portal. Alabama was the original front runner. He was heavily recruited by them coming out of high school, and then took a visit to Ohio State. And then there was rumors that he'd go there, and then obviously since landed with Alabama. And played 2 years at Tennessee. His 3 years left to eligibility due to COVID-19 gives him an extra year of eligibility. 2020 had 76 total tackles. In 2019 he had 72 total tackles. So huge playmaker for the Alabama. And we talked about them adding Jamison Williams to that roster, and that just adding the defensive weapon is even better, because we saw last year that their offense didn't need much help at all. Their receivers was the best receiving core in the league, or in the college football level. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jaleel Billingsley, Slade Bolden, all those guys were top tier players and would have started on any other college football team. But their defense struggled last year a bit, especially at the linebacking position, with Dylan Moses really kind of fell off, and really unfortunate because he was a very talented player his first couple of years and fell off and went undrafted, signed with the Jaguars in free agency as an undrafted free agent. But Henry Tua Atoa is really going to be a key weapon. With him and Christian Harris is just going to be an insane linebacking core for Alabama. And the fact that they can have him for 3 years, Tua Toa could easily be first round pick if he plays to his highest potential, which I think could easily happen. He's a great player, and as I mentioned, the number one linebacker coming out of that recruiting class in 2018. One of the best prospects out of high school, clearly. In De La Salle, the great football program this year. Their 2000-2001 football team was voted the greatest high school football team of all time. So they got a lot of rich tradition out there, and the state of California produces a lot of college football talent and NFL talent, and Tua Toa is going to be a huge player for the Alabama Crimson Tide, especially for that defense, who I think is going to be very strong next year. A lot of their players are returning that were younger, and they're going to do great next year, and they've already rebuilt with some great young cornerbacks as well. And it's going to be really exciting to see how Henry Tua Toa is going to fill in with that team. And I think that he'll fit in great, in my opinion, and he's going to help that team contend for another national title. They do it every season, and why not this year? With their defense has always been really a lot of the time why they've been so good at making the playoffs. This year was the offense, and I think that they're going to have no problem making it if the defense and offense comes together. I think the offense is going to be a little shaky at the beginning, but if they can figure it out with under Bryce Young, then they'll have no problem, and they're going to be a great team next year, and going to be a tough go against tough go for whoever plays them. And Miami might be their toughest game of the season. Texas A&M will be a good game as well. They're at Texas A&M, also at Florida. Played Florida last year, beat them obviously in the SEC championship. Probably their closest game by far last year, and you know, but the opening game is going to be say a lot about the team and how far they really can go. And I think they got a shot to repeat. But I think it's going to come down to the offense, and if Bryce Young can handle the pressure of being a young quarterback and leading that team to a national title. Him and DJ Ungalale from Clemson are really in the same boat and it's going to be exciting to see. And I think it'd be crazy if those guys ended up playing in the national championship versus each other, because both those guys are from two different high schools not far from each other in Southern California. Bryce Young from Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana, California, and then you have DJ Ungalale from St. John Bosco in Bellflower, California. Two teams split national titles, and they've played each other in multiple national titles with Bryce Young and DJ Ungalale. Two starting quarterbacks. Some great games been put on between those two teams. Some great programs with some of the greatest high school football coaches right now, and they've put out some great talent as well. JT Daniels, Keaton Slovis, three quarterbacks from Mater Dei from there, and really impressive the talent that comes out of there. But that, as I mentioned, those guys, if they played in the national championship, would just be a different story. Just considering the fact that those guys have already played each other in a national championship before at the high school level, and doing it at the college level would be even more crazier. Moving on now to another transfer portal news. Jordan Johnson, Notre Dame wide receiver, has announced he will transfer to UCF. He did not play in 2020, opted out, had committed to the team. He would have been a freshman this year if he had played. As a high school recruit, he was ranked the number 6 wide receiver by 24/7 Sports. So, big pickup for UCF. Gus Malzahn recruiting very well. Did a very good job at recruiting at Auburn. And, still doing it at UCF. Got one of his best defensive players from Auburn to come over to UCF. And with these new transfer rules where players do not have to sit out a year, I think that's going to change the game of college football a lot. And I haven't really decided what side of whether I'm against it or for it yet. There's good and bads to it, just like almost everything, and that's just a part of it. And a lot of people are afraid that it's going to cause some sort of free agency in college football, which I don't think it will at all, because the best teams like Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson, all those teams are still going to they're going to keep a lot of their players if they're playing well. So I think it's nice for some players who may not get the playing time that they expected, or went to a place that they thought that they were going to get more playing time and did not. So we'll see what happens there. But Gus Malzahn doing very well at UCF at his new job. And there's also been a talk a while ago that he has been trying to set up a home and home series versus Alabama. So that would be interesting as well. Gus Malzahn, one of the very few coaches to beat Nick Saban multiple times, and especially in modern. Not that long ago, he's done it in some crazy games, and so that'd be a very interesting game if UCF and Alabama did face each other if Nick Saban was still there. Rumors that Clemson wide receiver Justin Ross will transfer have come up. Clemson has since denied the rumors. If Ross were to transfer, the two teams that had heavily recruited him out of high school were Alabama and Auburn. Ross opted out of the 2020 season. In his freshman year, he was a part of that national championship team that blew out Alabama in the national championship game, made some insane catches, and he's a very talented player. And Clemson, if they lost him, that would be a big blow. They lose one of their star receivers this year, Amari Rogers, who really I think is going to do very well at the next level. I don't know. I think that size is one of the big concerns for Amari Rogers, but I think he'll do fine at the next level, and he's going to be a very good player. And it's a good pickup for the team that selected him. I can't think of it right now, but either way, Amari Rogers was the star player of that team, and Justin Ross has shoes to fill in, and I think that he can definitely do it. Justin Ross made some insane catches in that national title game. He's got some of the best hands, but Clemson would be struggling big time they lost that, especially as I mentioned with new quarterback DJ Ungalale. He's good quarterback, but he's going to need some experienced guys around him. And Trevor Lawrence had that a lot, especially with Travis Etienne. Both those guys held almost all the ACC records. But if DJ Ungalale lost some experience at receiver, it would really hurt that team a lot. And we'll see how it does affect. I don't think it will happen. As I mentioned, Clemson has come out and denied the rumors, so we'll see. But at his 2 years at Clemson, Justin Ross has 112 receptions, 1,865 yards, and 17 touchdowns. He's currently a junior, will be his next year of eligibility, and so very good stats right there for 2 years, and especially considering that one of those years was his freshman year at the college football level, and he did very well. And so, moving on to some rather unfortunate news, Texas Longhorns linebacker Jake Ellinger, brother of newly drafted Colts quarterback Sam Ellinger's brother, was found dead off campus. Police say the 20-year-old younger brother of former Longhorns quarterback was found dead on Thursday, according to police in Austin, Texas. The Austin Police Department said it received a call at 12:18 p.m. local time. Responded to the call, a residential area just west of the University of Texas campus, and identified the individual as Jake Ellinger, who was a redshirt sophomore. No cause of death has been released yet, and the death was not considered suspicious. And really unfortunate news for that family after the great news of their brother Sam Ellinger being drafted to the NFL to the Indianapolis Colts in the 6th round, and it's really just sad, and thoughts are with that family, and just really unfortunate the college football world lost a very great person to a very unfortunate and tragic death. That will wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below and subscribe. Thank you.